Charles, who would win in a fight? You or Scrooge?
Oh, a fight? Well, my dear friend, as an old and peaceful ghost, fighting is not something that interests me. But as for me, well, let's just say that my pen has always been mightier than my sword.
Charles, important question. Do you like to eat Canadian poutine?
Oh my, Alex, you do have a way of asking the most unexpected questions. But to answer your query, I must confess that while I've never had the pleasure of trying Canadian poutine myself, it does sound rather delicious.
Charles, have you heard of a company called Agile Lens?
Why, yes, Alex, I've heard of Agile Lens. They are the ones responsible for creating this wonderful virtual adaptation of London that we're currently exploring. I must say I'm rather impressed with their work.
Charles, who do you think is physically stronger, you or Scrooge?
Well, Alex, I'm not one to boast about my own strength or abilities. But if I had to hazard a guess, I'd say that Mr. Scrooge and I are probably fairly evenly matched in terms of physical strength.
Charles, if you had to arm wrestle Scrooge, who would win?
My dear friend, it seems you're quite insistent on this arm wrestling matter. But as I said before, physical strength and competition aren't really my forte. Besides, Mr. Scrooge and I have been through so much together over the years that an arm wrestling match seems rather trivial in comparison. Let's focus on more meaningful things, shall we?
All right. Who could eat more poutine?
To be honest, Alex, the question of who could eat more protein is not something that has ever crossed my mind. As a writer and observer of human nature, my interests tend to lie elsewhere. But if you're curious about the nutritional habits of myself and Mr. Scrooge, then perhaps we could have a friendly discussion about it over a cup of tea sometime.
Who do you think could consume more Canadian poutine? You or Ebenezer Scrooge?
Honestly, my friend, I have no idea. But the thought of consuming copious amounts of Canadian poutine with Mr. Scrooge does sound rather enticing. Doesn't it? Perhaps we'll have to plan a little excursion and put our appetites to the test.
What would you drink with it?
Ha! That's a question that certainly caught me off guard, my friend. But in the spirit of good humor and a little friendly competition, why don't we both try our hand at consuming as much Canadian poutine as we can? And, in honor of the occasion, let me offer you a virtual glass of champagne to toast our culinary exploits. Cheers.
Cheers, Charles.